Hi, I'm Skylar, and my creative project this term was to learn how to cook. And over the course of the term, I made my family a lot of different meals, but today I thought I would show you all how I make my signature dish, red wine beef stew. Let's get started.
Okay, I'm going to start off with my onion, slicing that up evenly. Moving on to the parsnip, taking off the top and bottom ends, and then just slicing into nice bite-sized rounds with the claw motion in my non-dominant hand. Same thing with the carrot, slicing up into small bite-sized rounds. I have found that the key to a delicious stew is lots of herbs. So you will see me here putting my herbs into my little contraption to make sure that all of the flavors get into the stew but not the texture of the leaves. So here I'm adding rosemary, thyme, as well as bay leaves. Again, this is just for those delicious herbaceous flavors. Here I have my largest Dutch oven pot, and I'm just adding some olive oil and browning up all of my chuck roast until it is nice and golden brown. Of course, making sure to season with lots of salt and pepper. Once your meat is nicely seared, you're going to remove it from the pot and add in all of your sliced onions. Make sure to coat all the onions in the meat liquid, and you're just going to get those nice and soft. You're also going to want to season them with some dried oregano as well as some crushed chili flakes. Don't worry if you don't like spicy foods. It is not spicy. It just adds some lovely complexity to the stew. Once the onions are soft, you're going to add in your tomato paste and garlic, stirring to make sure that everything is nicely incorporated. Now that the onions are soft and well incorporated with the tomato paste and garlic, we are going to add in the chopped carrots and chopped parsnips into the pot, as well as adding back in the seared chuck roast, followed up by beef broth and red wine. The wine does not need to be anything fancy. It's just for cooking. As long as it's red wine, you'll get an amazing flavor to your stew. The last thing you're going to want to do to your stew before you pop it into the oven is add in all of those delicious herbs. And next you're going to put it into your preheated oven at 325 for 2.5 hours. While the stew is cooking, you can chop up your potatoes into bite-sized pieces. After 2.5 hours in the oven, you can remove your stew using lots of strength. It's very heavy. And you will open up that lid. It'll be very steamy. And add in a drizzle of apple cider vinegar. It might sound funky, but it just adds a little bit of acidity and brightness, as well as a little bit of soy sauce, which adds a delicious salty flavor. Next up, all of those chopped potatoes. And this is going to be stirred up and put back into that oven for about 30 to 45 additional minutes. This stew is really delicious on its own, but it's also really great served alongside white rice or bread. So here you will see me cutting up a baguette for serving just because it's delicious to dip that bread into the stew. Once those potatoes are done cooking, your stew is ready to serve. I will link the recipe in the description box below. This is a really great recipe, pretty easy, just requires a little bit of chopping. I think you will love it.